You see this bead? It's a prayer bead. It contains so many of my childhood memories, and it's a reminder of how the best and the worst are all there waiting in every speck of life.
It's a true story, and I received it from a great French African writer from Mali, Amadou Hampâté-Bâ. He lived in a sort of beautiful little island of old Africa where everything was loving and interesting and charming, and people sang songs and there were tales told all night long. All that mythical Africa was there. And then real life had to come in. There was no way around it. A certain prayer was said either 11 or 12 times. And the story tells us how that happened, that there was this tiny thing. Do we do this 11 or 12 times? Once that happened, conflicts grew. But the first conflict was one of argument, discussion, and even sort of high philosophical thing about the different meaning of different numbers. But out of that, gradually, step by step, it served people's purposes. So within a family, it became a family quarrel, because the uncle didn't like the aunt of the other family, and it was something to quarrel over. Still wasn't dangerous, but because families were quarreling, it became a tribe. And a tribe became a clan, and a clan became a whole region. And then gradually, the French colonial power began to see that this was very dangerous, that there were big quarrels going on, and so they tried to find out who are the stronger and who are the weaker. And the people who prayed 12 times were numerically stronger, and so the French said, oh, we are going to back them. Those who were praying 11 times, who were the more serious, because they didn't want honors nor that, they wanted to be allowed quietly to go on with their prayers, they became the enemy. And so out of this grew a conflict that led, in the end, to massacres.
The new pen, sir. He asks to see the commandant, sir.
Send them in immediately.
Yes, commandant, sir. It will be done, commandant, sir.
I am the new, temporary in a provisional post, subject to termination at any time, new scribe of the French administration, Amadou Hampâté-Bâ.
And behind that, of course, is a second story which is so important to tell today. And here I'm just talking very simply about Islam. It's a great religion, and there is something deeply to be understood and respected. But now it's all getting confused for the same reason, that it serves so many people's interests to turn that into something which isn't true.
That play could be French, could be English, could be even a part of Africa against another part of Africa. It could be South Africa in the past. It could be now what is happening in Afghanistan. It's fights. It's about fights and who is right. I think the real question is, one side wants to be tolerant and do its own business, and the other one wants to be right. It's very difficult to find what is right.
What's unusual about Peter is that he has, over the 50, 60 years that he's been directing, simply followed his own intuition. He's followed his own nose. He's done whatever he has felt he wanted to do next. And he's been brilliant at creating the circumstances in which he can do that, so that one feels a very matured sense of an artist who has really become himself through his work.
I have great news! I just met Hassan, my cousin. Mm-hmm. He was in the room with his brother. Oh. And through the wall, he could hear his father talking to his uncle. Mm-hmm. And his uncle, as you know, is the best boatman on both sides of the river. Now, this is what he said. Oh. The white's excrement is just as black as ours.
You don't do a play to tell societies anything. I think one must be very clear about this. A play is a human experience that can mean something to the people who are there, and that any single individual there can receive something for their own private understanding, and which can help them in their own relationships with their own lives and with the people around them. No play whatsoever in the whole of history, in all the cultures of the world, has ever changed the policy of the world.